Our first speaker this evening is Diane Amoroso. Quote, though she wanted to go a more serious route this time, the assignment of vocal variety had her choose a more humorous and entertaining speech. Good. Please warmly welcome our first speaker of the evening, Diane Amoroso. You want this?
I don't actually, thank you.
We'll take care of that.
Good evening. There's a quote I've seen going around lately that says, everyone needs a friend that they shouldn't sit next to at a serious function. Can any of you relate? Does anybody here have a memory floating back to them, perhaps from a meeting or a class? Okay, I can see, yes, I'm not alone here. Wonderful. To me, what it means is that most of us have been in a class or a meeting or something where a person that we're sitting next to could be a friend, a coworker, has a sense of humor that makes us laugh at an inopportune time. I can see it happening now. My fellow Toasties, DTM Nick Smith, my name is Diane Amoroso, and tonight is another opportunity for me to share some embarrassing stories from my past. There are many people I shouldn't sit next to at a serious function. Here are some examples. My brother. I have two brothers actually, and though they're both very funny, my younger brother is the culprit of many untimely laughing attacks. It doesn't help that we grew up with our dad as a church pastor, so we had more than our fair share of serious functions. When I have vivid memories of laughing in the pew with my dad giving me the snap from the pulpit to make me stop laughing. You'd think that as I got older, that I would mature into adulthood and stop that nonsense, but that's not true. One Christmas Eve, when we were already adults, my family and I were at a Christmas Eve service. It was quite beautiful, actually. The lights were dimmed. Everybody was standing in a big circle around the room. Each person was holding a battery-lit candle, and we were singing Christmas carols. It was a reverent moment. I was standing next to my brother, and the song Silent Night came up. So we began to sing. Silent night, it was I heard low in my ear. Holy night, all was calm. All was not calm with me. I lost it. It was hilarious to me. And in that big circle, people were looking at me laughing. So I pulled my classic move that I had been using since I was a child, the cough laugh. It's where you try to cover your laugh with a cough. Okay, I'm not the only one. You try to cover your laugh with a cough like this. It was never believable. Never worked, and as an adult, it still didn't. Oh, moving on to the absolute worst time that I was seated next to the wrong person. I was in college, and I had started dating this guy, and a couple months in, his grandma died. I didn't know the grandma, I didn't know the family hardly at all, but he invited me to go to the funeral with them, so I said yes. Turns out his brother is a clown, and at the funeral I was seated between the two of them. Before the ceremony started, we were laughing about something, but once things got going in the ceremony, of course, we got very serious. Unfortunately, that seriousness was very short-lived. The ceremony began with a song, not just any song, a song composed and performed by their long-lost hippie aunt from the mountains. She walked to the front with her long, scraggly hair and her long, scraggly armpit hair hanging out. She had a guitar. She went to the front. She placed her guitar tuner inside of Grandma's coffin and proceeded, right next to her head, and proceeded to tune her guitar. The brother was whispering something to me, and I was doing my best to hold it together. But her song was so weird. And whatever the brother was saying to me, it just had me cracking up. I put my face in my hands and leaned forward, shaking, doing the laugh cough, of course. And I looked up to see my boyfriend's parents scowling at me. I was mortified, but I couldn't stop. After the service, some people came up to me and asked me if I was okay. They thought I had been crying. Of course, I had to apologize to my boyfriend's parents, to which they replied, "We were waiting for that." This last person is God's gift to me. My life partner, my husband, Diego. We attend a lot of serious functions together. Weddings, church every week, our daughter's programs. And I still get the giggles at these programs, but it never turns into the shameful events like the stories I've mentioned tonight. You see, my husband has a strategy. Whenever he senses things getting out of control with my laughter, usually I'm jabbing him to make sure he knows just how funny this thing is. His strategy is to act very offended and mad. He'll cross his arms, give me a disapproving look, and turn his head in the other direction. This is how he shuts it down so that he's not stuck getting embarrassed by me. And it works. Plus, I don't even get my feelings hurt because I know he's just pretending, and it's really helpful. I wish I could open the floor right now, especially knowing all the nods, and hear your stories about this topic. But, your stories about this topic. There it is. Thankfully, at Toastmasters, it's a great place that we can laugh. And if you ever see me giggling when it's not a funny moment, just blame it on the person next to me. It's definitely their fault for being the person I shouldn't sit next to at a serious function. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Diane.